Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. What's happening? What's going on, guys? How y'all doing tonight? Everything good? Everything good. All right. Not a whole lot going on here. Hold on for a second. Excuse me. Yo. What up? What up? What up? What up? I hate that this does this. What's good, Josh? What's good, guys? Running good, Ethan. Juke, what's up, brother? Edward, my good man, what's up? Cam, what's up, brother? This is some bullshit right here, man. I'm having a little technical difficulty with the TV. What's that about? You, what's good? Yeah, Francisco, we talk football. I'm more of a hoops dude, but we talk football. Yeah, we do. We absolutely talk football. We talk pro football. I don't really talk college football too much. And the reason why I don't talk college football much is because I think the playoff system is corny. And I think that the way that the whole thing is situated, I just think it's corny. So I don't really bother too much with college football, but I do talk pro football. Yes, I do. Who won the Luka and Trae Young trade? There's nobody who won it. They both came out pretty good. How's Luka doing? First team All-NBA, huh? Trae Young, 25-9, took his team to the Eastern Conference Championship. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really going from one side to the other. I'm trying to remember a 25-9 guy that not only did not make the All-NBA team, didn't make the All-Star team. So, and he's gotten better every year. So I don't think that there's, one guy or one team in particular that won the trade. Because Trae's looking really good. He's looking really good. And Luka's looking like one of the better players in the game. So Trae Young, most turnovers per minute in NBA history. Yeah, Gabe, and make sure that you mention that he's also second in the league in assists too. Don't leave that part out. It's very important. Very important to mention that. On a team with no All-Stars and took him to the Eastern Conference Championship. So don't leave that part out. King, what up, brother? What do you think, man? Westbrook, Carmelo, James, Anthony Davis, and DH. Gills, what up, yo? I used to watch hockey, Jay-Z. And when my Devils, when Marty left, I was out. Mm-hmm. Now, when you're looking at Gabriel, when you're looking at the eye test, what are you looking at when you say he's on another level? What is Luka doing, with the exception of being bigger than Trae? What is Luka doing to make you go, yo, he way better than him? Like, it ain't close. What are you looking at? What's up, Tristan? What's going on, brother? Trey ceiling higher than Curry's. I don't know about that, but hey, Instinct, listen to me, man, and listen good. We can't call him that. We got to come up with something else. That's not going to come bucket. No way. We can't call him that. We got to come up with something else. We can't. That's a terrible nickname. Oh, my God. That is terrible. We got to come up with something else for him. Though, that's a terrible nickname. Terrible. No doubt about it. Just his impact and how the team looks without the player, for example. All weren't doing bad whatsoever without Trey. So Atlanta wasn't doing bad without Trey, but Dallas without Luka, they just I mean, they fell to pieces. I thought Milwaukee was going to beat them anyway. I didn't think that they were going to beat Milwaukee, but they went to pieces when he went out the lineup. They went straight to pieces. No doubt about that. Especially when Middleton got going, especially when Bobby Portis and those guys got going. I mean, they went to pieces. So let's see here. The play-in tournament is whack, man. I'm not a fan of it. I've never been a fan of it, and I don't think that I will be. I think it's something to bring excitement to the game, but it ain't something that I'm looking at and saying to myself, this is good for the league, because I think you're rewarding mediocrity. The 10th team in the Eastern Conference is not a playoff team. You got 82 games to get in the playoffs. That's like in the NCAA tournament, man, where you got this team that's 5-11 in the Big West or in the Mountain West Conference, and they end up winning. They get hot and win the conference tournament. They end up going to the tournament. That's so corny to me. They shouldn't even been invited to the conference tournament. No way. So, no way. Who's winning the Super Bowl? Well, the road to the bowl game go through Tampa. And I'm a Niner fan. Take it light, Gabriel. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. I'll be back on Tuesday, and I'm gonna try to get on earlier for you guys overseas. So the road, in my opinion, Tampa's running it back, and the road to the bowl game goes through Tampa. So, uneven. What's up? What up? What up? What up? What about that fight, DJ? What about it? It was tragic, man. It was. I had the Indiana Pacers winning the NBA championship that year, and the fact that we had the person who, in my opinion, didn't get nearly enough blame as they should have was Ben Wallace. He started the whole thing. Yeah, he started the whole thing. He got fouled. He took exception to it, and he started with Artest. If he don't start with Artest, we don't have none of that going on. So I think that was corny. And how that whole thing transpired, where these guys ended up these guys go running into the stands. I mean, you got 5 million reasons why you don't go into the stands, but there's also a line with fans too. You know, you throwing things at people. It was really disappointing for me, man, because like I said, I had Indiana winning the NBA championship that year. I did. Absolutely. Bird was better for a little bit, but Magic became better. Bird was better for, let's see, from probably 84 to 87. And then Magic became better. Actually, Bird was better for longer than that. Bird was probably better from maybe 83. Probably 83 to 87. Bird was better. You know, Bird was more versatile than Magic. Bird was a better rebounder. He was a better defender. He was just as good a playmaker. He shot the long ball better than Magic. And in Magic, he added those things to his game. And Magic matured. Magic accepted the role of being the man because he was playing behind Jabbar. He was the primary ball handler, and the offense was get the ball to Jabbar. That was the O. Get the ball to Jabbar. And he did that. So Magic ultimately became better. What do you think? Yo, OG, do you think this narrative on Bron always playing in a weak conference leading to his easy finals? Well, it's Rayful. It's always nonsense with LeBron because he's now in the Western Conference. So now the Western Conference is weak. When he was in the East was whack. If he's now with the Lakers and he's got a good team, well, it's always going to be something with LeBron. It's always going to be some nonsense with him. When he was in the Eastern Conference, well, I bet you can't do that in the West. Well, he ends up doing it in the West. He does it in the West, and, well, I bet you can't do it with this. And it's always some nonsense with him, always. So I do my best to let that stuff go on one end out the other with him. I don't really bother too much with it. I did see Sean Livingston's injury, and that was I thought his career was over, to be honest with you. At that point, I did. I thought his career was over. I thought he was finished. Oh. I don't know if Josh Allen is the next Elway. What I do know is he's one of the better quarterbacks in the game in terms of his athleticism. He's a little erratic and he'll throw you out of a game, but he's also another guy. He's also a guy who'll keep you in the game too. So let's make sure we 100% clear about that. He will absolutely keep you in the game. No doubt. So it's always some nonsense with LeBron. Always. It's super corny. He was in the East. Well, I bet you can't do that in the West. He comes to the West, and they end up winning the NBA championship with the playing field level. And now it's, well, you had this. And it's always going to be some nonsense with him. Always. He's never going to be beloved like he should be. Never. No, I haven't, Sam. Making the Case on YouTube. I'm gonna check that out at some point. All right. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Well, Charlie, I think that, and I talked about this earlier, that I don't like to rush guys. And when you rushing guys, you setting them up for failure. So when you got a guy like Trey Lance, who I think is one of the most dynamic, the most talented, athletic quarterbacks that I've seen in ages. And I remember, rewind the clock 5 years ago when Carson Wentz was coming out, and everybody talked about how good he was and what North Dakota State was doing as a program. You know, they had won the national championship 3 straight years. And I'm thinking in my head, well, they obviously up there doing something right. And as a 49er fan, I'm thinking to myself, why don't we send somebody up there and see what they're doing up there? You know, our quarterback might be up there. Our quarterback for the next 10 years might be up there. Our starting offensive guard might be up there. Our starting cornerback might be up there. So why don't we send some people up there and see what they up there doing? Because clearly they're doing something right. So fast forward 5 years, they get this guy, Trey Lance, who in the end, he wanted to go to Minnesota, and they passed on him because they wanted him to play wide receiver. They didn't think he'd play quarterback, which is nuts. I mean, you got a kid right from your home state who wants to play right here. So he ended up going to North Dakota State where he developed and blossomed. He ended up getting his 2020 season cut short, but he was incredible. Now, the thing that I'm worried about is hang on for a second, Ray. I'm worried about rushing him. Now, if he's better than Jimmy G and he's ready, then I don't really think that there's much to talk about, right? But if he's not, and I don't want to just get him out there for the sake of getting him out there, because Jimmy G has shown that he can't stay upright. But when he does stay upright, we're talking about a dude that's 24-8, that's 80% win percentage. That means 4 out of every 5 games he starts and he plays, he wins. So I got no problem having Jimmy G out there, none whatsoever. And I wouldn't mind if Jimmy G stayed upright, that Trey would sit behind him for a year and learn the offense and learn to be a pro. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think Trey Lance could be a star. Now let me get back to Rafe. Hold on, let me get back to Rafe. Rafe had a question. Because that's all they remember, Rafe. That's it. That's all they remember. They only remember the good stuff that you did. I mean, they talk about Jordan being the great player that he was, and Jordan was great from the beginning. His teams weren't great, and that's what he's been judged on, the fact that his teams weren't very good. So Cash Money kill that if we had an elite quarterback. Jimmy G had a 118 QBR at the half, and he missed Sanders on that bomb. That wasn't the problem. The problem was they went after Sherm. Patrick Mahomes in that offense, they went after Sherm and exposed him. So don't make it sound like it was our quarterback fault, because no, it wasn't. Jimmy G wasn't great in the second half, but he wasn't trash neither. So nah, you ain't selling me that one. Nope. Absolutely. Michael Jordan's career did not start in 1991. And most people, what's up, Jessup? How you doing, brother? Most people, that's all they talk about. They talk about Jordan being a finals MVP and like he came into the league in 1991. No, he didn't. Jordan came into the league in 1984. He was in the league 7 years before that happened. 7. So no, Michael Jackson wasn't popular in 84. Michael Jackson was iconic in 84. Clay's a better shooter than Carmelo Anthony. I think Carmelo was a better player than Klay Thompson. I do think that. Jason Kidd transformed himself into I have him in my top 5 point guard list of all time. He transformed himself into a long ball shooter. He couldn't shoot the basketball on any level when he first came into the game. And he turned himself into a long ball shooter as he got older. And that actually helped him win an NBA championship when he was with the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. Jason Kidd he didn't score the ball like Russ, but he caused so many problems on the defensive end and on the offensive end, and that's the edge that he had. He wasn't the scorer that Russ was, but he was just as good in every other area, and he was smarter than Russ, and that was the difference, no doubt. Thoughts on Mike Bibby? Mike Bibby was a solid point guard. Mike Bibby had a money mid-range game. Mike Bibby could shoot the long ball. Mike Bibby wasn't afraid of nobody. Mike Bibby was a really good playmaker. One of the best things that happened to him was getting out of Vancouver and ending up with the Sacramento Kings, because he got an opportunity to play for a championship, play on a championship caliber team. The problem that he had was Chris Webber wasn't with the drama. That was the difference. But I had a lot of respect for Mike Bibby game. What player do you think could maximize Shaq's potential, if any? England in the house. What up? It was a great piece, DJ. And I knew the whole routine to it when I was a kid. I don't know. I probably can't do it now, but I knew the whole routine to it when I was a kid. Running good, Cam. How you doing, brother? Matt, I am buying all the Miami Heat. hype because I think Kyle Lowry's still in his prime, and I think he's going to be big for them. I do. I think he's going to be big for them, and getting Jimmy Butler back in the fold, and those guys having an off season to heal up their bodies, and get ready for this season. I still don't like Bam playing the 5. I would love for Bam to get moved to the 4 and for them to get a 5-man that could really help them just rebound the basketball, and Bam could be more offensive. I think that would help them out tremendously. No, I don't think that Zion is overhyped. Absolutely not. Dude is 26 a game, almost 27 a game, almost 60% shooting. What's overhyped about that? No, he's not the perfect player. He don't rebound it. He still doesn't have a mid-range game. But once he puts that mid-range in his game and he figures that out, because he's not going to be in New Orleans for his entire career. He's going to get out of there because he's going to go somewhere where they're going to build a championship unit around him. And if he can put a mid-range in his game, I think he'll be the face of the league at some point. I do think that. My personal thoughts on who? I missed that. No, man, I don't have Instagram. Well, Zion was insane in college because he was a classic example. Zion was like I put him in the same category with LeBron James. I put him in the same category with Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, guys like that they didn't need school. School was a waste of time. There was no reason for Garnett to go to school. No reason. LeBron James would have been wasting his time in college. No reason for them to do that. And Zion, I'm looking at Zion and I'm thinking to myself, watching this dude that, what is this dude doing in school? This dude has no reason. There's no reason for this dude to be in school. None whatsoever. None. Well, Ethan, they're both significant. Both Dirk and Giannis's rings are significant. I don't think one's is better than the other. I don't. I think they're both significant. I dig Michael Finley. Michael Finley was a big time 2 guard. I'm surprised he never made the All-Star team. Very athletic, 6'7", could score on anybody. He was part of a championship unit in San Antonio. He was solid. I had a lot of respect for Michael Finley. Absolutely. And he played a lot of years, too. A lot of years. So Hayden, I think that Giannis actually has that 12 to 15 footer. I think the same thing that's going on with him is going on with Ben, where it's upstairs because he works on his game. No question about it. He absolutely works on his game. It's just a matter of him translating that onto the floor. You saw what happened in Game 6 when he went, 17 for 19 from the stripe? That's not a coincidence. I mean, he works on his game regularly. So it's just a matter of him believing in that and consistently translating that to the floor. And if he could do that, we're going to be talking about Giannis for years to come. He's only 26. We're going to be talking about this dude for years to come, man. Is there an MVP snub that stands out to me, veteran? Absolutely. There's an MVP snub that stands out to me. That would be Mr. LeBron James. And there are a number of different guys who got snubbed for MVP. We can rewind the clock back to the 97-98 season where Jordan won it and Malone should have won it that year. But flip back to the 96-97 season where Malone won it, but Jordan should have won it that year. So that gets tricky. But I am having the most difficult time understanding how the best player on the planet has his team in the NBA Finals 9 times in 10 years, and he's the best player on that team, and he hasn't seen a league MVP in almost 10 years. I'm sorry, since 2013, yeah. So this dude hasn't seen a league MVP in 8 years. We're going into year 9 now. This dude hasn't seen a league MVP. In 14, I'll give you Steph. I'm sorry. In 14, I'll give you Durant. Absolutely. He went 50, 40, 90. I think he led the league in scoring that year. 50, 40, 90. I think Oklahoma City had the number 1 seed. Steph, I'll give you in 15. I think he led the league in scoring, and I think they had the best record in the Western Conference, or the second best record in the Western Conference. I'll even give you Steph at 16 because they were 73 and 9. I'm not giving you Steph unanimous though, but I'll give you Steph. I'm not giving you Russ in 17, and I'm not giving you Russ in 17 strictly off the strength that, OG, he averaged a triple-double. The guy who actually averaged a triple-double before him 60 years ago didn't win the league MVP. So that's not of significance to me. Absolutely not. And the reason why I'm saying that is also because rewind the clock back to 1989. The Chicago Bulls, I think they finished 46. I think they finished with the 6th seed that year in the Eastern Conference. And I think they won 2 more games than Oklahoma City did that year. Jordan went 8-8. That's the furthest he ever took his team. They went to the Eastern Conference Championship, and he had a second-year Scottie Pippen and a second-year Ho Grant. And he just got Bill Cartwright. He didn't sniff the league MVP. He didn't sniff it. So fast forward to 17 when Russ averages a triple-double, and you want to base him winning the league MVP off of that. The guy who actually the guy who actually averaged a triple-double didn't win league MVP. And Oscar Robertson actually won the league MVP. He didn't average a triple-double. Go to 18 with James Harden winning it. I can appreciate James Harden winning it, even though that Cleveland roster got flipped in 17. That Cleveland roster got flipped in the summer of 17, and it was terrible. So terrible that at the trade deadline at 18, it got flipped again. So we got 6 new guys on the roster in 17. Go to the trade deadline at 18. We got 5 new guys. He still managed to get that group to the NBA Finals with the 4 seed. This dude didn't sniff the league MVP. 19, he was hurt. I can appreciate that. Last year, 25 a game, led the league in assists, and was on his way to winning league MVP, and instead it goes somewhere. That's the problem that I'm having. So you want to talk about snubs? Yeah. Alexander, what's up, brother? Day's going good. I still haven't gotten a satisfactory answer on what exactly the criteria is for league MVP, but that's just me. Whatever. I don't know if Olajuwon's the best defender of all time, but he's definitely in the conversation. No question about it. No question about it. Game 1 of the 2018 finals, I thought that if Cleveland would have won that game, we got a completely different series. I don't know if Cleveland beats Golden State, but I think we got a completely different series if they win that game, because I think James emptied it in that game. He went 51-8, and to see how defeated he was after they lost that game, he was done. I think he was done. Hell, G, I was thinking to myself, who could be the face of the league after Curry and KD retire? He was thinking Zion, Luka, Book. Well, like I already said, once Jason Tatum is he's my favorite young player under 25. I think he'll be a top 5 player at some point. Zion, if he puts a mid-range in his game, I think he's going to be the face of the NBA. I don't know if the NBA is ready to have a Euro as the face of the league, which that shouldn't be the case, but there's a lot of people who might frown on that. Charlie, I think that you overreaching if you got the Warriors in the finals. You think they're the best team in the Western Conference? They're going to have to get some really favorable matchups if you got them in the NBA Finals, if Klay's healthy. Wow. I think the NBA is doing that, Breezy. I do. I think they are doing that. Luka is already better than both Zion and Tatum. I think Luka. I think Tatum is on his way to being on that level, though. And you talking about Luka is already better. What do you mean Luka is already better than them? They've already been in the league. They've all been in the league at the same time. I think Zion is going into year 3. Luka and Tatum are going into year 5. Yeah, this season coming up, they're going into year 5. So it's not like Tatum been in the league 8 years and Luka been in the league 3. He came in the league the year after he did. Gee was the best center in the era, apart from Shaq. Or can you name any centers better? I was insanely elite. I don't know if was the best center. Came in 2003. You talk about the 5-man. Shaq was the guy. No question about that. Ben Wallace was a defender. Tim Duncan didn't play the 5. The better 5. Marcus Camby was also a defender. Yao had a plus side to him, and that plus side was that he was offensively gifted. He just was made of he was made of glass, man. He couldn't hold up, and that was the difference with him. That was definitely the difference with him. Who would I add to the next 25? I would have to sit down and think about that. Maybe I'll have an answer for you the next time I talk to you. Scotty Barnes is winning Rookie of the Year. No, I don't think so. I think that honor is going to Suggs. I think the Toronto Raptors screwed that up passing on him. And I love Scotty Barnes. I love what he does and what he's going to bring to them. We talk football. We talk football. We talk football today. That's what we were doing a little while ago. We was talking about Trey Lance and the 49ers. We were talking about Josh Allen. Somebody had asked me about Justin Herbert. Yeah. So we talk football. 2013 LeBron over 93 Jordan. 2013 LeBron is the best version of him that I had seen. That was the 2013 LeBron is 92 Jordan. That's the I got this figured out, and it's not one of y'all who can do anything with me. None of y'all. You guys are playing checkers, and I'm playing chess. Yeah, I'll go to my grave with that one. That Dominique Wilkins, when Dominique Wilkins retired, he retired 8 all time on the scoring list. And he was not a top 50 player. Wow, that was pretty. Even though all the other guys on the list were, that was pretty impressive. I was really surprised about that. RJ Barrett's coming back better next year, man. Wait. You'll see, Kyle. He's coming back better. Yep. OG, he's from 96 to 98, still really good. Besides the Bulls and the Knicks. Yeah. Indiana was good. Atlanta was good. The Nets were getting better. Who else was in the East at that time? It was 4 or 5 teams in the Eastern Conference that were really, really good. Really good. My top 10 wide receivers of all times. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Megatron. Hang on. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Megatron. I'm sorry. Terrell Owens, Megatron. Larry Fitzgerald. That's 5. I got to think about the other 5. I think Chris Webber would be awesome in today's game. I don't think he would be good. I think he would be incredible in today's game because his ability to pass, his ability to play away from the ball, away from the box. Chris Webber had a money mid-range game. He could knock down the 15 to 18 footer. No doubt about that. Well, nobody talks about that, DJ, about the fact that James had, Shaq was washed when he got him. He got Shaq in year 19. In year 18. Shaq was washed, man. He was over. Moses Malone was better than Dwight Howard. Kent, there's no way you believe that because the stuff that they have today, where you got guys catching the ball with one hand with the gloves that they have. Are you serious? No way. Absolutely not. How good was Jordan when he averaged 37? Well, think about this. He didn't shoot. He shot 19% from the 3 that year. He shot the long ball. That year he averaged 37. That'll give you an idea about how good he was, how money his mid-range was, how he could get to the basket. He averaged 37 a game, and there was nobody who could do anything with him. I think the Celtics are going to be right back in the middle of the Eastern Conference. And I think that if they can get a favorable matchup, I think they'll be right back in the middle of being Eastern Conference title contenders. I don't think they could win it, but I think that they could go on a run like they've done in the past. If Tatum is healthy, if Jaylen Brown is healthy, like I said, I love Robbie Williams, so I'm liking what they're doing, no doubt. Not only did he shoot less than 1 3 a game, that wasn't the game, Charlie. What do you mean, where's the transparency? That wasn't the game. You got a guy in James Harden who's averaging 36, 35 a game. He's shooting 8 to 10 threes a game. Jordan didn't shoot any. He shot 1, and he averaged 37 a game. That wasn't his game shooting the long ball. So Jerry Rice over Randy Moss, my man. No doubt about it. But no, Hakeem was absolutely that dude. No doubt. It's not a question. Charlie, I don't know if he would average 50, but we talking about a 22-year-old Jordan, 23-year-old Jordan, his game was strictly flight and athleticism with a money mid-range game. He shot almost 50%. He shot 49% from the floor, and he was shooting 24 shots a game. And his game was 15 to 18 feet. That was Jordan's game. Jordan shot threes like when the shot clock was going down. He didn't shoot threes regularly. That wasn't his game. And there's no transparency. There's transparency in that because that was the game at that time. The game today is shooting the long ball. That's why you see James Harden going to the free throw line as much as he does. Yeah, I watched the Malice in the Palace. I watched it. Yeah. If Greg Oden was never injured, he would develop into an Anthony Davis type player. No, I don't think he would have developed into an Anthony Davis type player retro. I thought I saw Patrick Ewing 2.0 when I saw Greg Oden. I didn't know he was made of glass, though. I did not. If he would have stayed healthy, that's who I thought he was going to be a better version of Ewing. The rim protector that he was, how he was on the box. Oh, I thought he was going to be incredible. No doubt. I think they will, Alexander. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Charlie, Golden State, they gotta. I don't know if they go into the finals, but yeah, I think that they're going to be back in effect, and this is going to be good for the NBA too. So let me talk to Edward real quick, guys. Excuse me for a second. Edward, why do you think Patrick Ewing is overrated? What about him makes him overrated? Because he never made first team All NBA? Because he never won a league MVP? What do you think? What do you think about him makes him over? What makes him overrated, in your opinion, Mr. Granger? Yeah. No, Sam, I'm not a college football fan. I don't bother too much with college football. But I will peek my head in from time to time, and I'll see guys, but I don't really bother too much with college football. I think that the game is, I think it's tricky. I don't like how I don't like how the dynamic is set up with a playoff system, and you got to be in this league, or you got to. I'm not appreciative of that, because the logic with getting into a playoff system is you don't play in the same league that I play in. So from week to week, you couldn't deal with the same competition that I dealt with. Well, why do I have to deal with the same competition that you dealt with? I'm the Billy Badass of my neighborhood. I don't got to whoop everybody in your neighborhood. That's your job. I just got to whoop everybody in my neighborhood, which I did. And if you say you better than me because you from a tougher neighborhood than me, or you better than me, or you can whoop me because you from a tougher neighborhood than me, then come do it. That's how we get to the bottom of that. So I don't see anybody who resembles Bernard King today. Nobody, Costas. Nobody. Retro, Kwame Brown was never a bust. No, he was not. Kwame played 13 years in the NBA. A bust is he would have been Anthony Bennett was a bust. Kwame played 13 seasons. I think he had a 30 and 20 game. He wasn't Ewing or Shaq or David Robinson, Olajuwon good. But he wasn't trash neither. Like I said, he played 13 years. No, to hear. I don't think that Dirk Nowitzki has the toughest ring of all time. I think that honor goes to Hakeem Olajuwon. They in 1995, he had to go through Malone, Barkley, David Robinson, who was the league MVP, and he had to go through Shaq. So thanks, Ken. Jason Williams was nice with the pill, man. He was. Yeah, Jessup, I did watch Malice in the Palace doc, and I talked about it already. I was not. It was a good documentary. Yes, it was. It was really good, no doubt. It's interesting y'all mentioned Hakeem or Shaq because, just so you know, Shaq averaged 24 and 11 against Olajuwon. Olajuwon averaged 19 and 9 against him. But the difference, in my opinion, because nobody could stop Shaq. Shaq was brute force. That's all he was. Nobody could stop him. I think Olajuwon, the difference was Olajuwon was a little more versatile. I think he was a better offensive player than Shaq. I think he was more skilled than Shaq. I think he was a better defensive player than Shaq. Brendan, what's up, brother? I do think he'll get signed. I'll be surprised if Isaiah Thomas didn't get signed. I think he will get signed, no doubt. Is Steve Nash on Jason Kidd's level in types of players? I think he is. I think the difference with Jason Kidd is that Jason Kidd is a little more versatile. That's why I have him ahead of Steve Nash on my point guard list. But I do think he's on his level, though. No doubt. Well, he surpassed him. Russ surpassed Oscar Robertson, but I mean, I don't know if he's better than Big O. Big O was a lot headier. Thanks, A Hoops. Big O was a lot smarter. That's always been my issue with Russ. You know who Russ is, and I'll give you the best example I can. Russ is that girl that you meet, and she's phenomenal on the surface. She's absolutely fantastic. She cooks. She's beautiful. She's got a good job. She says all the right things, only to find out she ain't really that smart. And then as time goes on, the more you hang around her, not only is she not that smart, she's actually busy, and she does things that make you go, oh, what am I going to do with this girl? And now that completely changes your perception of her. Because you were madly in love with this girl, and you think that she's the dopest thing ever. And then when you find out that she ain't that smart, it's kind of like the rug gets pulled out from up under you. Because you had such high hopes for you and her. You thought you and her were going places. It's like and now you find out that she's damaged goods. You know, this chick ain't that smart. I can't rock with her. But you still in love with her. She's still fly. So that's how I feel about Russ, man. What would happen if CP3 did not? I didn't hear that from Shannon Sharp, I didn't know he said that. Because I want to make it clear that I'm not trying to, bite off somebody's style, but absolutely, John. There's no question about it. There's no way Jordan would be able to play today if he couldn't shoot the long ball. Because I think he's better than all the other two guards, but he would have to be able to shoot the long ball. He would have to be able to do that. And I think he knows that too. I don't think I'm that good, Alexander. But, we'll see. Maybe I am on TV one day. Maybe I'm not. But I don't really think that far down the road. I do this for you guys, man. That's what I do it for you guys. I do it because I dig talking basketball, and I dig educating people on the game. I dig getting educated. So is Kevin Durant better than Larry Bird at his peak at scoring? That's a tough one, man, because Bird was so efficient, man. He can get buckets in so many different ways. So could Kevin Durant. He was a better athlete than Bird. So his ability to get to the basket and he'll throw it over the top of your big man. And Bernard King or Luka? Luka over Bernard King. That doesn't, because Bernard King was buckets. That's exactly who Bernard King was. He was buckets. All day, every day. Bernard King wasn't a guy who was wishy-washy. Wishy-washy, or he was out of bounds with certain things. Bernard King was buckets. You need points. That's who we going to. Number 30. No doubt. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But Dwight did work on his game, OG. What do you mean if he worked on his game? He did work on his game. Dwight wasn't the same player in 2008 that he was in 2004. He worked on his game. He got better. Absolutely. He just was. I think the problem that a lot of us have with players is that when we see them in a certain light, we just expect more. Dwight Howard was limited offensively. He wasn't a guy who had unlimited offensive ability like Olajuwon, like David Robinson. Well, number one, he wasn't the athlete that David Robinson or Olajuwon was. So he wasn't unlimited. His skill set wasn't like that. So there was a limit to who he was. Oh, I don't think KD is a top 10 player all time. No, I don't. You don't watch KD. I absolutely watch KD. Sure, he's an underrated passer. No, he's not. No, KD is not an underrated passer. No, he is not. KD had, I think, 3 or 4 seasons where he averaged like 3 assists a game. So, no, he's not an underrated passer. Do not try to sell me that. No, absolutely not. Kevin Durant is buckets. Let's call it what it is. Stop trying to sell me on Kevin Durant being an all-around player. Because no, he ain't. Kevin Durant is buckets. He's always been buckets. In fact, that's what you say about him. Who is a better scorer? Kevin Durant or who is a better scorer? You don't say who's a better player. No, you do not. So let's dead that. Rank Steph, Dame, Kyrie, and Luka. Well, Ryan, I'll tell you what, man. Steph, Dame, Kyrie, Luka. In that order. I think Dame is him, and Kyrie is more efficient than Dame. The problem that I have with Kyrie is unstable, and I can't get with that. Dame is headier than him. Dame is more composed than him. Dame is a better leader than him. And that you take those things into account when you have a guy leading your team. Those things matter, man. Those things absolutely matter. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So the best actor that ever played Joker. You think Giannis is going to average 30 this season? Well, over the last 4 seasons, he's 28, 13, and 6. So that wouldn't be something that would be eye-popping to me because he right around that anyway. So I can get with that logic that Luka is better than Kyrie. Yeah, I can get with that logic. Sure. Hold on for a second. Oh, gee. You think that the 95 Rockets team had a tougher path than the 97 Bulls, really? Jordan made it look easier. But my man, they had to go through the trenches. No, they did not. No, Justin, you ain't selling me that. You're not selling me that. The 97 Bulls that won 69 games, they had to go through the trenches? Let's see. That 97 Bulls team, who did they beat in the first round? Let me see. Let me remember. I know they beat Atlanta in the semifinals, and I know they beat the Miami Heat in the East Finals. Who did they beat in the first round that year, though? No, that was in 98. They didn't beat the Nets in 97. No, that was in 98. Who did they beat in the first round? Wasn't the Knicks. Wasn't the Celtics. That's who they beat. Nope, it wasn't the Wizards neither because they beat them in the first round in 96. They had Weber. So, they ain't beat them neither. It wasn't that was 96 in the first. Yeah, that wasn't the Bullets. They beat the Bullets in 90. They beat the Bullets in 96 with Tim Legler. So it wasn't the Bullets. Because they beat the Bullets the year before that. That's a good question. I do not think that the Bulls had a tougher road in 97 than the Rockets had in 95. Absolutely not. No, not in my opinion. No way. Mm-mm. Was it the Bullets? Because I thought they beat the Bullets the year before that. In 96. With Webber and Rod Strickland and Calbert Chaney. Now the Bulls played in 97. They played in 97, they played They played the Heat in 97 in the first, and they played the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals in 97. In 96, they had to go through Orlando. In 96, they beat the Knicks in the first round. I take that back. You're right. They did beat the Bullets because in 96, they beat the Knicks in the first round. Yep. They beat the Knicks in the first round. That's correct because they still had Ewing and Mason. They beat the Knicks. And in the second round, they beat Washington. They beat Atlanta. And then they beat Miami to get to the finals. That's correct. I remember now. Okay, I'm with you. The Hawks were a 60-win team in 97. So were the Heat and the Jazz. The Jazz, all right, I can get with the Jazz. No doubt about that. No doubt. I can get with the Jazz. Jordan made it look like light work. Doesn't mean the word. I ain't say it wasn't insane. Absolutely not. I just think that Olajuwon's road with what he had, you are aware that the Houston Rockets were the 6th seed that year. So in the first round of the playoffs, we got to see Malone in Stockton, who won, 57, almost 58 games that year. Then, after we get past them in 5 games, we got to go see Charles and the Suns, who they were down 3-1 to them for the 2nd consecutive year. They get past them. Then he had to see David Robertson, who was the league MVP, and destroyed him, averaged 35 and 12. And then in 95, he had to see Penny and Shaq. I think they won 60 games that year. They swept them. What happened to LeBron's career? What happened to LeBron's career if he stays with Cleveland in 2018? Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think they would have kept building that team around him. I think they would have kept trying to compete for a championship. I think the problem was they were building that team. He was so dominant that it wasn't a situation where they could have somebody who was equal to him because he was so dominant. It was kind of like Shaq and Kobe. Like one of those guys had to go. Either one of those guys had to go or somebody had to accept the lesser role. And I'm not sure if they would have won with that philosophy, but I do think that they would have continued to compete for the NBA championship. I do think that because he was just so good. Have you been noticed in public yet? Man, don't nobody pay attention to me, Alexander. Nah. Don't nobody notices me. I might run into a kid in a grocery store once or twice that goes, "Yo, you OG?" That's about it. But for the most part, I don't really get noticed that much. No. Ain't nobody paying attention to me, man. Yeah, Cam, I do. I think that if he could put a mid-range in his game, I think he'll be the face of the league at some point. I do think that. Yes. No, OG, I don't think that he would be because I think Larry Brown would have screwed him up. I think he would have had him on the bench. He already had a championship caliber team, and I don't think that Carmelo would have fit with that. I don't. I think that Larry Brown would have sat him on the bench, and I think he would have screwed his game up. No, I don't think he would have messed with Colin. And the reason why I don't think he would have messed with Colin is because you get these new guys that come into the game. Why you think James had Wiggins shipped out? Was because, I was brought here to win it. And I'm not a part of a development. No. I know what it takes to win, and I know what it's going to take. I know what kind of group I'm going to have in order to win it. And Justin, what's up, brother? OG, with only 2 players left in the 03 class, do you think knowing how players grow into what they are, that draft class is the best ever? Is the 03 draft class the best ever? We still got 2 guys that are still in the league from that draft class. I don't know if that 03 draft class is the best ever. That 84 draft class with Olajuwon and Jordan and Barkley. John Stockton came the next year. I'm sorry. No, he did come in 84. Yeah, John Stockton. I mean, those guys played a lot of years. I don't know if they're the best. You can make the argument for that 84 draft class, just like you can make the argument for that 96 draft class. And your logic is you still got 2 guys left, and we're going in the year 19. Carmelo Anthony's still in the league. LeBron James is still in the league. Kyle Korver just retired, 2 years ago? So, Would I take Dirk or Tim Duncan? Big Kev, I'm going with Tim Duncan. Definitely going with Tim Duncan. AI was still averaging 28, and it was tricky in Denver because he wasn't the leader that they needed him to be, because Carmelo still was in his developmental stage. He wasn't Melo yet, and he needed leadership. I mean, and they did make the playoffs with that group, but they were better when Allen left. That team that went to the West Finals in 08. Was it 08? Yeah, I think it was 09. I'm sorry. That team that went to the West Finals in 09. I didn't think they were that far away, man. I didn't. And I would have liked for them to, with Marcus Camby and Kmart and Chauncey Billups. I didn't think they were that far away, man. And I would have liked to have seen Denver hold on to that group. I know they lost Melo, but I would have liked to have seen them hold on to that group a little bit, a little longer. Yeah. That 84 draft class was serious. Will Chamberlain is absolutely on the same level with Jabbar. The difference is that Jabbar just did it longer. Absolutely. Jabbar just did it longer. That's all. And that matters too. Longevity is a big deal. Let's make sure we're clear on that, man. Longevity is a huge deal. You have to be able to do something for a long period of time. That's why I'm not jumping out the window on Giannis being in the top 5 power forwards yet. No, I'm not jumping out. I'm not jumping out the window on that yet. We're talking about a dude who ain't a part of the 20,000 point, 10,000 rebound club, but because he won an MVP twice and he's a defensive player of the year, he's automatically top 5. I'm sorry, and won the NBA championship and the Finals MVP. He's automatically top 5 power forwards of all time. Easy. Let's slow this down. I need to see a couple more years. I need to see some more years for Giannis to be in that conversation, because he's not, in my opinion, he's not yet. You going off the fact that he won. I mean, Derek. It's the same thing that I hear with Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose won the league MVP at 22. Is he in that conversation with all-time greats? Well, Derrick Rose got hurt. That's the point. That's the point right there. Michael, I think LeBron is done winning NBA championships, in my opinion. I thought that after last season, because when they won it in 2016, when they beat the Warriors, I always felt like there was another one left. But when he got this one that they just won in Orlando in the bubble, I was like, that's it. I think I think he's done. Now all that's left is to become the all-time scoring leader and to be in the top 5 in assists, and we done. I don't know if they win a chip, but I think that they right there. I don't think the Celtics win a chip. And just for the record, I mean, what were they? They were 5th at one point in the East. There was a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference before Jaylen Brown got hurt. They were a top 5 team. No, I don't think Steve Nash and Stock have the same play style, because Stock. Now, wait a minute. Let me retract that. Retro, do you mean the same play style offensively, just as primary distributors? Because if that's the case, they're both elite distributors, pass first guys, no question about it. Greatest multi-position defender of all time. I just have such a difficult time with Scottie Pippen never winning Defensive Player of the Year. That's nuts to me, man. What's ironic to you? People are so obliged to discredit LeBron for his 8 points in the finals. Hold on. Getting outscored by J.J. Barrett, but we never talk about Kobe's 3-1 performance. In the 2004, played 45 minutes, finished with 11 points. I've been saying, I've said it more than once, more than twice. If the Detroit Pistons would have played that Laker team 10 times, they would have beat them 9. I'm convinced of that. If they would have played that Laker team 10 times, they would have beat them 9. But also remember too, Alexander, that Hayward was in and out the lineup, and he never really looked like he fit with that Celtic team neither. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong, but the more I watched him, Hayward never looked like he fit with that Celtic team. It just didn't look like it worked. Clint, I'd be surprised if, I don't know if Brady running it. They're running it back as a unit, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen this year, because my 49ers are gonna be back. I'm good on Green Bay. I already heard Aaron Rodgers say after my 49ers stomped them in the NFC Championship game in 20, we need to get this. We need to get this game. Quote, we need to get some playoff games at home. Well, you had the NFC Championship game in your building. Tampa came in there and shut your place down. So I'm good on Green Bay. I'm not listening to them. But the rest of the NFC is going to be back. I think the NFC is going to be really good this season. Elvis, what's up, brother? What's going on with you? Mm-hmm. Michael, how's the crack? No, he didn't, man. I every time I watch him, every time I watched Hayward with that group in Boston, I felt like he was in the way of Jaylen Brown and Tatum. I just thought he was in the way, and I'm thinking that doesn't mean that Hayward's bad. I just feel like you in the way of what these guys are developing into, and we need to find a way to move him so these guys can flourish into being what they can become. Thanks, my man. Let me make sure I can say that right. A Dikie. Did I say that right? Thank you, my man. Well, the Chiefs, they ended up replacing their offensive lineman, and so that's big for them. Because if you ain't got nobody protecting Patrick Mahomes' left side, you're gonna get that dude's gonna be on his back, and he's not gonna last long. So you got to do that. I'm watching the Knicks in Cleveland right now in the summer league. Mm-hmm. Chris, what's up, brother? Did I say that right? A Dikie? Okay. I don't want to say that wrong. All right, I did say that right. Adeki Efedio. I don't know if I said that part right. I think I might have screwed that up. Yeah, Rafe. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. If that Detroit team played that Laker team 10 times, I think they would have beat them 9. Even though Shaq was dominating Ben Wallace, they did not consistently get him involved. They just didn't. Nope. They did not consistently get Shaq involved like they could have. Yes, I do think that I had the Indiana Pacers winning the NBA championship that year. Yes, I did. But then what they do is they tell me to stay consistent. Meanwhile, the double standard and all of that nonsense goes without saying with these guys. It's dumb to me. It just is. It really is. So hold on for a second, guys. Excuse me. 1 second. DJ, that Pacer squad. So you basically had arguably the best 4-man in the game in Jermaine O'Neal. He was on his way to becoming that. Hang on for a second. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, brother? You had the best 4-man in the game. You had arguably the best 4-man in the game in Jermaine O'Neal. You had Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest. He was Kawhi Leonard, except he wasn't as stable mentally. But he was the best two-way player in the game. No question. He was the guy who locked up. And a lot of people will say, well, Kobe was no. Them dudes was not meta. You had your energy guy in Steven Jackson. You had your long ball shooter in Reggie Miller. You had your heady point guard in Tinsley. So they matched up really well with the Spurs. And I thought that game, when they handled Detroit, before that fight broke out, they had handled Detroit. And I thought they were going to win the NBA championship. I thought that they were the most balanced unit in the game. And when that thing went the way it did, it completely threw a monkey wrench in everything. If George Foreman would have beaten Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle, would Foreman have been the greatest boxer ever? We'll never know. What I do know is George Foreman didn't get in the ring for 10 years after that. 10 years before he got back in the ring again. So the psychological damage that did to him, it can't be understated. It can't be. Oh, well, Rick, what I can't do is I can't talk about Kobe no more because all I hear is the disrespect for Kobe Bryant, this and the disrespect for Kobe. Like I'm just always on some nonsense when it comes to Kobe Bryant. When in reality, I just talk about you don't want to see the warts on your face. You just want to see the side of your face with the makeup on it where it looks good. And it doesn't help that he ain't around no more. That makes it even worse. So because you talked about the 11 points that Kobe Bryant had. They had 68 points as a unit. 68 points as a unit that night. That was terrible. No, I don't think he was developing into a James Harden type elite scorer. I don't think he was that good, but Agent Zero was buckets. Yes, he was. And he could pass, too. Yes, he could. Absolutely. He could absolutely pass. So I got Drex number 5 on my shooting list, Jay. I got Jordan, Bryant, Wade, Harden, Drex. That's what my list looked like. So absolutely they would. It would get completely different. So it is nothing. That's nothing new. Nope. I think that the Knicks made a mistake more than the Nuggets did, Breeze, because of what they gave up. I don't think that team was that far away, man, with Stoudemire and Gallo and Felton. They weren't that far away. Nah. I don't think that they were that far away with that group. And for them to gut that unit the way they did, it was a disservice. So, no doubt. So, hey guys, so it's about that time. I'll be back on probably Tuesday night. I'll be back on, and I'll try to get on a little earlier for my Euros, so we can spend some more time together. And till next time, guys, I'll see you then. Take it light, but take it.